Help.
Hello.
Today we're joined by Mark Thomson,
Yep.
actor.
Hello,
That's right.
darling.
Hello. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you so
Very
much
well,
for
thank
being
you.
with us. Yeah, how you doing?
Great. Absolutely brilliant. Busy at the moment, as always. So, but that's the way that I like it. You know, it's sort of this industry. It's very infectious, as we all know, and it's just it's brilliant to be sort of stuck into different things. You know, loads and loads of stuff happening. And it's really nice to be immersed in this great industry that we're all working in, you know, so...
It's madness at times though, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh my days. So let's just start looking at who you are and what makes you tick. That's what we're here for, you know. A lot of viewers,
Great stuff.
you know, are going to start thinking, oh, who is this man?
So, we'll start at the beginning.
Let's do it.
So, obviously, you know me as Mark Thompson, but along the way I got the nickname Tomo, which everybody calls me Tomos, you know, my friends, my family.
Really?
Yeah,
I
so
didn't know that.
so I got christened Tomo from a very, very, very young age. Left school, and when I left school, I always wanted to be creative in some way, shape or form. So the first thing I did, I went to college and I became a chef. So that's what my job is initially. So I became a chef de partie. So I went through the ranks, went to college, did a couple of years in a hotel in Edinburgh, and then realised that it's a great job this, but there was just something missing. So I applied to join the fire service, Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service actually. And that's where I ended up in 1986. So I went from the frying pan into the fire.
I love that.
Literally.
That'd be a great thing for your book.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so I left the catering side of things and joined Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service in 1986 as a probationary firefighter. So I then moved on, went through the years, sort of best job in the world because it's what I wanted to do from being a very, very young lad. Used to go outside Oldham Fire Station with my dad.
Yeah.
And at 5 years old, I said to my Dad, I'd love to be a firefighter, a fireman as it was then.
Yes.
And so I said, I'd love to be a fireman, Dad. What shall I do? What shall I do? And he used to say to me, one day, lad, one day you'll be a fireman. And that dream came true for me. So it was absolutely brilliant that I got in the fire service in 1986. Best job I've ever had in the world. It was just like everything all rolled into one. You know, it was like a birthday, a Christmas, everything. It was fantastic.
Wow.
Loved every single minute of it. But like everything, all good things have got to come to an end. So I'd done my full 30 years.
So, all right, so you can't go over 30 years then, is that?
You can, but things start to depreciate, you know, bits start falling off you. And Sagging, yeah.
Aching. Our
yeah.
director knows all about that.
And subsequently, you know, you have to move on in your life, as we all know. So that was the advent of you know, the acting side of things. So I left the fire brigade in when was it? 2016 I left, having done the full 30 years. Now, during that time, I'd had quite a lot of experience doing extra work on the telly and stuff, so I thought, you know, this is really good, this. So I left in 2016, but there was a massive void. There was this big. I couldn't adjust to civilian life. It was awful. I hated it for 12 months because I could grow my hair. I could have an earring in. I could grow a beard, and there was no one there to sort of tell me off or discipline me, if you like. So I had a massive void where I couldn't fill. So like I said, I'd done a little bit of extra work, and I thought, right, it's time to do something creative now. So I got a role in Coronation Street as an extra, and I was watching the principal actors, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I'd absolutely love to do this. This is what I would really like to do. So that was the advent of the acting side of things. So that's what I did. I sort of got into acting. I went to work with the university students at Salford University, did a little bit of stuff with them, doing some films with those people. Again, loved it, absolutely loved it. And that's basically where I'm at the moment, but I'm trying every single avenue I can go down within this industry because it's amazing. As we know, it's amazing,
Yeah,
so.
I think it's a case of just trying to absorb it all, isn't it? I mean, and we've not had, we've had a lot of guests on the show, but never anyone who has been classed, I suppose, as institutionalised within a brand and within a chosen craft, such as the fire service.
Yeah.
So, in essence, that's what you would become, institutionalised to the regime, to the rules of it all.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then to lose all that.
Yeah.
I mean, some people wouldn't cope, would they?
No, not at all.
The thing is, as well, it was like I'd gone through the ranks and I got myself a rank to what they call a crew manager, which manage firefighters.
Okay.
So on in and around the station and even outside the station when we was out on incidents, I was classed as somebody that the younger end looked up towards me as this god, if you like, and even to some of the older end used to look up to me, and I found that brilliant. Yeah, I loved every single minute of it, and when I left the fire service, that'd gone. I was a nobody, so I was right at the very bottom of the pile, and I had to start again to sort of build that reputation where people were not looking up to me, but respected me.
I was just about to say, it's all about
They
respect.
respected me, and I'm starting to see that now.
Good.
And it's a real nice thing to have that respect. It really is, when you've got like young up and coming actors asking for your advice, and I'm like, what, me? Mark Thomson, Tomo, they're asking me for advice, and it's like, wow, it's like another dream starting to come
I think it's
through.
because you've got such a magnetic personality. I think people are drawn to you. The first day that we met, and walking into our studio today, you just exude this aura of that you're a nice guy and you're approachable.
Yeah,
Do you
I
not-
agree,
do you not get that?
100%, yeah.
You put people at ease, and that's a very rare quality. That really is. That everybody wants to be liked, but at the end of the day, if you can look back and say, do you know what, I was a nice guy.
The thing is, there's a lot of nasty things going on in this world at the moment. A lot of nasty things, and I think if you can be nice for one day to someone and make somebody's day that little bit better, then that's great. That, isn't it? If you're nasty towards something, you're going to be nasty for the rest of the day, rest of the week, rest of the year, whenever. But if you can be nice and just change someone's life just for that little bit, then I think you've cracked it.
Yeah.
So obviously being, obviously still going on about the fire service because it was the biggest part of your life. Do you have one incident that really stands out? One incident that's like, whoa, that was huge,
Yeah. I hope you don't mind me talking about the trauma side of things, but
Of course not.
yeah, there's one incident that really does stick out more than anything in my 30 years as a firefighter, and I was driving one of the appliances at the time. It was the first pump, the first fire engine that gets to scene the very first time.
Yeah.
So we'd got the incident as a road traffic collision, or a road traffic accident as it was then, and we got it as road traffic accident, person's trapped. So straight away you're on your mettle. You're on your mettle all the time, but when there are children involved, there's kids involved, you really are switched on to the max. So I was driving, and it was just round the corner from the station. So we rolls up at the scene, and it literally is carnage. There's cars, bodies, everything all over the place. I was driving, so the boss who sits at the side of me said, right, position the appliance now so that we can all get all the stuff off, which is what I did. So we rolls up at the incident, and it's awful, for want of a better word. It's horrible. So I walked past this. There was an ambulance, and I was walking along to sort of get some information off one of the other firefighters to relay the message back to our control. Because as a driver, you've got to relay all the messages back to control so that they can get everything sorted, basically. Okay. So as I was walking along, there's an ambulance to my left with sort of people and bodies, if you like, sort of scattered around all over the grass. And I just managed to glance inside this ambulance, and there was this little pair of shoes that was, I bet there was no bigger than that, a little pair of shoes attached to a little toddler that must have been 18 months old. And they were moving up and down like this, and the reason why is because the ambulance people were working on this little child, and that to me will stick in my mind for the rest of my days, because that child didn't survive, as a result of this road traffic collision, so and it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice at all. It affected everybody on the appliance. So we gets back to the station, we all sort of resets, if you like. About 10 minutes later the bells dropped, and we were out again for a load of chickens on the M62. So, and these chickens were just running around everywhere, and you've got like all these burly firefighters running around chasing chickens. So it's like day, isn't it? One thing to another, and that's within the space of an hour. So, it was really funny watching these grown-up firefighters running around chasing chickens on the M62.
After what you've just been through.
After what we've just been through. So it's like peaks and troughs, very much like the acting industry, peaks and troughs all the time. That's so that was the job that I loved, because we do thrive on people's misfortunes, but that's in a nice way, because we want to help people.
And you can draw on these emotions. That's the mark of a great actor, that you can draw on your emotions, and you can go into the pit of your stomach and think, right, that's a trigger.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about that just after this break, back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back to Creators on the Couch, and we are speaking to the amazing Mark Thompson.
Thank you.
Bless you. So obviously after you retired and you needed something to fulfill your life, so the acting started, and it all started with Coronation Street.
It did indeed, yes.
Wow.
Now, a lot of you out there are going to be asking, what's the significance of that piece of equipment on the table there? Well, that goes back a long way. That is 36 years old, if we're honest. And it's like the connection between both jobs that I've had. And I thought I'd bring it in today, just to just as a bit of an explanation as to why I'm in the fire service, and the transition, if you like.
So that was your real one.
Yeah. So I got issued that in 1986, and that's been through the brigade jobs and everything that we've had, and that's been through the journey with me. So in 1986, and just before that. It's been on the set of Coronation Street.
Oh wow!
So right, okay.
So it's put a fire out behind Jack Duckworth's house. Believe it or not. So that's the significance of that. So that's followed me everywhere. It's like a bad smell. It's followed me everywhere. That hat.
Oh, it's your best friend.
Yeah, it is my best friend. Yeah. So I've used it on a number of occasions when I've been on set. I've played a firefighter a couple of times, and funnily enough, it's actually been on Coronation Street as an extra. So not an actor yet, but as an extra. So I've used that as an extra on Coronation Street, and I've used it on a real incident as well, obviously, as you can see. So I mean, my ultimate aim in this industry is to get a role on Coronation Street. Obviously, I've got a long way to go yet, but I will get there eventually. it's just chipping away to get that break, and hopefully I will do, you know. So
Of course you'll get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Of course you'll get it.
Fingers crossed.
Definitely
You know.
will. There's stages to it, isn't it? You know, and I think being a supporting artist is brilliant because you get so much on-set experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I've done it myself. You know, I did
Wow.
Mission Impossible 7 with Tom Cruise and a few other.
Wow.
And, you know, as much as I was just a supporting actor, I think it's the easiest and best way to learn because you're actually getting paid to learn. That's how I look at it. Yeah, and you get to network with people.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, I suppose as well being an extra, you're learning all about what goes on behind the camera as well.
Yeah.
So you know when to reset, you know when to what the director's looking for and stuff like that. So as an extra, you get chance to look at that. You know, you've got time to look at what's going on behind the camera. But as an actor, it's a little bit different, as you know. It's you know, you've got to be absolutely switched on to the max.
Yeah.
So you don't get to see what goes on behind the camera. But as an extra, you do learn that craft, don't you?
You do.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
You do.
But then obviously you stepped into the world of film, playing opposite me, didn't you?
I certainly
Wow.
did, sir.
I mean, that was, I think the journey that we've been on, you know, has been remarkable, hasn't it? I mean, you know, you stepped into my world as a leading man, and literally took it with both hands and ran with it. You know, the first day that we started on Borehog, I just, again, you know, when you meet people, like when me and you first met and started this, there was that connection there,
Straight
wasn't
away,
there?
yeah.
It's all in the eyes. And I think we were the same. You came over to me and you put your arms around me and you said, my name's Mark. And I was like, what a genuinely nice guy. Did you enjoy being in Borehog?
Oh, I absolutely loved it.
We can't give too many spoilers away.
I was going to say, there's certain parts that hopefully people will see what goes on, but yes, I absolutely loved it. Loved every part of it, you know. I'm dying to tell you what's going on, but I'm not going to
No, you can't. But was that your first proper acting role then in Borehog?
No, not really. No, I've done a few other indie films, but this was the one that's I'd say it was the biggest sort of part I've had. Yeah, but I've done other little bits and pieces, you know. But Borehog was the main one.
Main one. And talking of main ones, obviously you were on board as, you know, as a mainstream character throughout a lot of the movie, and well, I don't even know what we can say about my film, but
it's
you put me through the ringer a little bit, didn't you? Let's just say that, you know. But you will see that when Borehog comes out, you are all going to absolutely love it, and I think you're going to love what we created if you like really gory slasher. 80s retro horror films, because that is what we have created, isn't it? It is off the scale, terrifying, but you really did run with that character.
I loved it.
I was very proud of you.
I really, really loved it. I mean, so much so that I'd go home at the end of the day and rather than have a shower, I had to have a bath because it was full of bruises and all sorts of things. You know,
I did put you through a little bit as well, didn't I?
It was brilliant. Absolutely loved every single minute of it. You know, everything from start to finish, from when we did the rehearsals, when we did, you know, the read-throughs, right through till the finished product and the wrap party. You know, it was great to do.
But what a way to cut your teeth into movies!
Absolutely,
you know, and like I said, to see how you ran with this character, and you know, what you created off your own back, aside from what directors were telling you to do. You had your own idea of what you wanted.
I did indeed,
And to play opposite you know, the eye contact that me and you had again on the scene, You know, obviously I'm a little bit smarter now, aren't I?
Just a little bit, yeah. And the thing is, one of the nice things about Boarhog was I was given a bit of a free rein, you know.
Oh, that's good.
So I was allowed to develop that character, you know. I mean, some productions, it's sort of made for you, you know, and you've got to mould yourself around what the director's telling you. But with this one, I was allowed to have a bit of a free rein and run with that, you know.
Oh, and you ran with it, all right, sir.
Loved it. Yeah.
Oh my days.
Yeah, I loved it.
So what else is happening at the moment? You've got a new agent.
I have indeed,
oh,
yes.
Brilliant. Good.
Yeah.
So you're doing well then, because it's not that easy to get an agent.
And she's lovely, isn't she?
She really is. Well, there is a story behind that, actually. And quite a good story, actually. My agent, I can't obviously name names, but...
if you want to name your agent, you name your agent.
Well, it's Sophia Management, and she is really, really good.
Sophia is incredible. She's lovely.
She really is. And how it came about was... I used to work with this man called Alan Spencer, who was we used to work in partnership in the fire service together, and we used to work with young kids that were very, very challenging, and he and I both worked together, and what we did, we tried to put these kids on the straight and narrow and get them back into mainstream school, and the job was a good one, you know. So we worked together for I'd say 5 or 6 years, Alan and I. And then about a couple of weeks later, we'd wrapped on this, you know, this thing that we were doing, this project within the fire service and in partnership with Connections Oldham. We'd wrapped on that, and we'd said us goodbyes. And I didn't see Alan for about 10, 12 years after I'd retired and stuff. And all of a sudden, I get this tap on my shoulder. I was doing an extra job somewhere. And there's a tap on my shoulder, and it's Alan.
Wow.
And he's an extra. I'm an extra on the same production. We hadn't met. We hadn't sort of we hadn't said we was going to do what we was doing. So we was chatting away and I told him that I'd just started acting, and I hadn't got on Spotlight then, but I was looking for an agent, and he says, "You're looking for an agent, are you?" I said, "Yeah, definitely, 100%. So it just so happens that my daughter is, she takes on new talent, and she takes on Spotlight actors. So that was it. I was like, I like blue touch paper, and I'd gone. You know. So with myself, Alan, and Sophia got together, and Sophia took me on as an actor. I then got on Spotlight, and now I'm sort of like, you know, I'm sort of...
You're doing stuff all over the place at the moment,
yeah,
aren't you?
I'm doing quite a bit of stuff here, there and everywhere. I've just done one recently, which was very exciting. It was called 48 Hours. And what we had to do as a group of people, as a like a collaboration of people, actors, directors, script writers, etc. What we had to do was get a team together and put a short film together in 48 hours. So the talent had to be sourced, the script had to be written, it had to be edited, filmed, all within 48 hours.
Wow.
Now, we actually did it. There was 25 teams within the UK.
Yeah.
And we actually we nailed it. We got it sorted as a team, you know. So it's gone to the Cannes Film Festival, and hopefully we can get somewhere with that.
Oh my
Amazing.
So yeah, that's one thing I've been involved in, and a few other bits and pieces, you know, and a couple of indie films and stuff like that.
It's what you have to do, don't you? I mean, you know, we say this all the time, we just got to keep swimming.
You do, especially in this.
And
I think with this industry as well, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you're an actor, probably look at doing a bit of directing, a bit of writing, you know.
Funnily enough, that's another thing. So I'd always, I'd loved what was going on behind the camera as well as in front of the camera. Okay. But I just felt as though there was just that little bit more what I could pick up on, you know, what I could learn.
Yeah.
And then I just so happened to be trolling through social media for things related to the acting industry, and I came across this course that was a course on filmmaking. So I've literally just enrolled on this filmmaking course, which is 2 days long. I know it's not, it's not a university thing, but it's 2 days long.
Yeah.
And it gives you an insight into what goes on behind the camera. So I've enrolled on that, and I'm really looking forward to that. That's in November, so hopefully get that under my belt, and the world's our oyster.
Keep absorbing.
Absorbing.
That is all you can do, mate.
And I think with the industry, it's a business, so you need to know it all anyway. You can't just say I'm going to be an actor. You need to understand how it all works from A to Z. So no, brilliant.
And it's a great journey. I'm loving every single minute of it. That void now has been filled. When I actually left the fire service, that void is now being filled, and I'm sort of really, really chuffed with everything.
And it keeps you from under the wife's feet, doesn't it? Seriously, you are.
It does. Yeah, it does.
It's an honour to call you one of my friends. You know I adore you.
Lovely.
And you're one of the nicest guys that I have ever had the pleasure of working with. And
thank you.
Just thank you for being on our show.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
It's been absolutely fantastic. I loved every single minute of it. Thank
you. That was Mark Thomson, and if you want any more info of what he's doing, all of his credentials are going to be on the screen, and you might be getting some more offers. From me, my gorgeous girl here at the side of us, see you next time for more Creatives on the Couch. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you.